doing to get in on an open country rooster?
Well, I use the grass and the wind to my advantage, like noise, like from wind and that. I spotted them. It probably took almost an hour to get to them.
What's long distance?
I go out to 100
Mm-hmm.
with my bow, like practice. Most comfortable is at 40 metres for me, is where I'm most comfortable with my bow. Like the old bucks, there's no point hunting with the wind, in your favour and trying to ambush these older bucks because they're going to walk away with the wind in their face. They're never going to come with the wind blowing up their ass. So a lot of the time here, I'll hunt crosswinds.
Welcome back to another episode. Accurate Hunts of Life Outdoors. We're here with the Aussie bow hunter himself, Brett Meldrum. Welcome to the show, mate.
There you go, mate. Thanks for having me.
That's all right. We've crossed paths a fair bit in the last 6 or 8 months, but never physically tied each other down in the same location.
No.
And it all came to a point the other night when I had some clients out at my block, which is really close to where Brett lives and hunts, and he shoots me a message, and it's a picture of one of the clients saying, "Don't you feed these guys," because they were at the pub having a beer, and I wasn't with them. But the odds of you being at the pub when they were there, I would have went if I knew you were going to be there.
What was it, Saturday or Friday? I can't remember now. It was a weekend.
Yeah, and I think it was Friday night. And they went in on Saturday night too. They were chasing reception. They didn't do well without the reception. One of them, he had some issues at home he had to sort out. Yeah, but he said the feed was pretty good. I haven't been in there for Tucker yet.
No, it's good feed. Should come up.
Yeah, well, next time I'll try and come up a night earlier and tee it up and meet you out there. Once I get out to the block, though, I couldn't really, it's, half an hour back out. It's just set up in there. I struggle to get back out. I usually tell the clients we're not coming out unless it's a medical emergency.
Yeah.
But that's what I got the EPIRB for. Can hit the helicopter button if I have to.
That's it.
Have you had any medical issues out in bushes? Out in the bush?
I did this year. Actually, at this ruck camp we went to in northern New South Wales, I got real bad blood poisoning and had to get myself to hospital. I don't know, bloody. I think it all was a series of things. I've been hunting for 22 plus days straight, and we had Spike out here filming a video at home for a week, and then we went somewhere else, and I was doing my hunting, then went to do another sort of video thing on this other hunt, and I think the body was just worn out, and the immune system was completely shot, because you're up all night after guiding all day, sorting meat out and all that sort of stuff, and bugger all sleep up at 4 a.m. And I got a little tiny nick on my thumb when I was gutting the deer out, and that's all it took, and it rolled me on the last night of deer camp. And I got severe blood poisoning, tossed and turned all night with the hot and cold flashes and that. And had to hit up hospital first thing in the morning and drive 7 hours back home to another hospital. So that was a pretty wild day, but it could have been worse.
Definitely not the plan. Was it a little Havilon or something you're using?
No, it's just one of these new spiker knives we were trialling at the time. And I was pretty lucky. I had to go for 2 rounds of intravenous antibiotics, and then they had to cut it open and actually do surgery and clean all the bone out and stuff. So it got pretty nasty,
That's gnarly. Did it scar up?
Yeah, not really. They did a really good job when they glued it back together, because only a little cut they had to do to it.
Tell me a bit more about that spiker camp. That looked pretty fun. A bit of FOMO missing out on that sort of party. There's some big names there and some cool animals dropping.
Yeah, no, that was a really good time. It was a hunt organised by Wild Safaris up in northern New South Wales there. And Zero Tech was there, Southern Cross Distributors, Sporting Shooter, Lithgow Arms, and Spiker were the main lot there. The lighting company came. I'm just not sure. Can't remember exactly what their name was again. But no, it was a really good hunt. And we had some international people there too. And me and Jasper, going in from Spike and that, we sort of guided people and gave all these people a hand trying to put deer down. Had some really good country out there, a lot of good deer. And I think I got on the 4 good bucks, and Jasper got 4 good bucks as well. And we had a real good time out there. It was like meeting everyone and good times at camp every night. No, it was good fun.
Yeah, it look good fun. They're always putting out good photos and makes everyone jealous. And that rig they had out there with the Spiker logo on it was pretty big. The Unimog or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, the Unimog, yeah, no, that was cool. That was Wild Safaris, and that Wild Safaris put on a really good show. Like really good feed and that, and real professional boys. They made it really good.
Yeah, seemed like a pretty primo setup from what we were watching.
We were pretty spoiled.
Was it? It was rifle and bow.
Yeah, everyone else was rifle. I had a bow only section of the property that I guided on. I guided 2 Canadians to start with onto deer, but real thick black pine sort of country and that. And yeah, we had opportunities. We were under 20, have a few good bucks, but you just couldn't get a shot because the low branches on that black pine made it near impossible. And
yes,
but now we saw some really cool critters and that. Then I started taking rifle hunters in there. And yeah, they started putting a few deer on the deck after that.
What's the importance of having a bow only section?
We just tried to keep it from getting shot out too quick, or like spooking everything up, because rifle will do that. But there's a few hundred acre paddock, but yeah, it doesn't take long to push a deer out when you start letting shots off all day.
Sure, and then you reckon just one rifle shot will spook them far enough away, or just because my personal experience, I've shot. You shoot one off a scrape, you kill it, whatever, but then another one will move in to the scrape.
Yeah, that's true. We had that happen here actually, but up this place apparently it's pretty pressured up there, and it doesn't take much to turn the deer off. And they just wanted to have a little bow hunting only section. And after a few days, it's sort of like, oh well, we got good deer, we might as well let the rifle hunters in there, and I took them in and they started putting some animals on the ground. But no, like you were saying, I've got this scrape here at home, had this monstrous deer, a bloody moose of a deer, but I called him the moose, and had a good mate Jesse Pokey come out, and he come out and he put that one on the deck, and then it was only a day or two later, and that same scrape got replaced, and Jasper took out a beautiful buck off that. And then I think we got a third one off it as well, I'm pretty sure. But it just depends about country. And I don't rifle shoot here at all, and hardly anyone does. So it's kind of not really pressured that hard in that way.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that they're all working that scrape intermittently, or it's, one buck's holding it, and that's only because he's gone that the others have an opportunity?
Yeah, that's what it is. Because when you take out that buck, you take out his harem as well. So then there's there could be 7 to 15 girls there ready for the pickup. The next dominant buck will move in and take that one. But I spent a lot of years here managing the deer, like shooting a lot of shitheads all the time and leaving all these good ones. So now these good ones are that old. We filmed a video here with Spike. It will be out probably late next year. And that's be a really good one to watch for. We put down quite a few bucks in that video, and they were all old. Like old in the sense they had popped eyeballs and stuff from fighting. They started going backwards, and like they were just the dominant ones. But there's so much better deer that came through that I sort of managed that we thought, all right, we'll take out all these old ones finally, and that will bring in the new ones to give them a chance to breed. And it's worked out too, because a lot of these deer were right on their end. A lot of them actually got bashed off their scrapes and that by younger deer. So it's good to take out them old ones. They've done their job. Now let the new blood come through.
Early in the hunting days, I used to think it was an odd thing that people would shoot a buck pre-rut because it never had its chance to, spread its genetics and seed.
Yep.
But I can't remember who it was. We're having this discussion, but it was more like, well, it doesn't matter what you do because even its son, the tiny little spiker, has the same genetics.
That's right.
As long as you're doing what you're doing, the management and the genetics are of that line. Hopefully, it's
taken about 8 years to do it. It's a long-term thing. It's not saying it happens quick. Like 8 years, I live on this place. I've managed it for that long. I've hunted on this place for probably 15 years. So we've always really been real selective of the deer that we shoot here. If there's spikers running around and we just want meat, we won't shoot longhorn spikers. You get some spikers here, they've got 8 inches to 10 inches hanging out of them. It's like they're the spikers you want to leave alone because you're going to end up to be something special. It's all about, I don't understand where I am. It's easy to do because I live here, so you can sort of be picky. But if I only hunted twice a year, complete different story. If you go out to a block, you're like, right, that's a good deer. That gets me excited. I'll shoot it. So it's a big difference, like managing your herds and if you're here all the time, you know what I mean?
The other tricky part of that is if you've got shared access with other people.
Yeah, that's right.
It's hard to get other people on the same page, and even not just on your block, but neighbours. I mean, the property you're talking about is probably large enough that I know you've got neighbours' access too. But if you're on a small block, couple of 100 acres, and the neighbours are smashing everything, it doesn't matter. Then it's really hard to do that management on your block.
Yeah, I've got a really good block about 2 blocks away from here, and got some really good fallow on it. And I was a bit disheartened the other day. I was actually going there looking for goats, and I got the head here, actually. I found the head that the roo shooter got. And it's just like, I wish he never shot it. Young deer, one side had 18 points for a young fallow. It had like the front end of a red deer. Like it had the 3 tines going off the start on both sides, not just the 2. And I'm like, he shot this. Because you saw the head there, then you saw like the feet. So it's like, the roo shot it. The roo shooter got it. It's like at the end of the day, he's got to make money too. So it's just unlucky in that circumstance. But it would have been nice if deer like that got to live on.
Sure.
But it just is what it is. And not everything's in your control.
No. Do you know what they're getting at the moment for venison, the roo boys?
I think it's just under $2 a kilo, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's what I thought, $1.90 or so. It's considering it's only half that or something for a roo, isn't it? 85 cents?
90 cents, I think.
Yeah.
At the minute, it's only just started up again here.
Right, where's the local chiller? In Orange
it's sort of near you.
Yeah, right.
Where you're out that way.
Yep.
They're about half an hour from here, maybe. Not even.
Yeah, right. It's I hope they don't come too close to our place. But there's plenty of roos around. It's actually more wallabies. I see more wallabies than I see roos.
They have exploded here.
Yeah.
Those black swamp wallabies, we call them, they have exploded. They're everywhere now.
Yeah, we got sort of 2 types. I'm calling one a wallaroo and the other one a wallaby, but both of them, man, like every hillside's just crawling at nighttime and mornings.
There you go, the brown ones and the grey ones, eh?
Yeah, and they don't care. They don't, because they know they've no fear.
Yeah, no one shoots them, that's why.
No fear bred into them. And just for the record, someone asked me this on the weekend, you can't shoot kangaroos with a bow. Just to clarify for anyone listening.
No, that's right. The native species can't shoot them with a bow, no.
Now, you told me off air that you are bow only. It's not something I am by any means. I call myself a bow shooter, not so much a bow hunter, meaning that I'll happily go for a bow hunt, but I'm also usually got the rifle over the other shoulder. I don't mind the personal challenge. But yeah, I'm a slacker. I'll take the easy option. Why bow only? Like
I just love it.
So special
I've
for
been doing it all my life, well, literally, and I don't know, it's just something about it. I've always loved it. I never get tired of it. I'm even practicing every day. I never get tired of it. I always pick up my bow and have a few shots at the target and that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's part of me. If I didn't bow hunt, I'd go crazy, I reckon.
Yeah, right. And it's nice that you've got it there on your own block. I see a video you put up on the weekend. Your kids out and about. That was a young fella.
I took young Finn out. He's 9 years old now. He's got 2-3 goats and a pig and a hare under his belt now with the bow. So he's going pretty good with it. He got his first kill when he was 7, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes really good at it.
What about the other boys? Are they into it too?
Yeah, sort of. I bought them all a bow, and Finn's the one that really took off with it. The other ones sort of didn't, and they're older, but so they're going through that stage in life now. They're starting to go from boys into men, and they're too worried about their mates and that, and all that sort of other stuff. Back. Yeah, they might come back to it. If not, it doesn't matter. They do what they want to do.
What bow are you shooting right now? What's your current setup?
I got a Matthews V3X 33. It's a bow I've had for a couple of years now. I did get the Phase 4, but I wasn't the biggest fan of it, so I gave it away in one of my Instagram giveaways. And I've got 2 V3Xs now. Actually, I got one I use all the time and a backup one because it's just such a good bow.
From a non-bow person point of view, why is it such a good bow? And what was the difference between it and the Phase 4?
I don't know. It's just it fit me better. It felt better. Like they're pretty much the same bow. The Phase 4 had the split limbs on them, and I don't know. I found that I hand torqued the Phase 4 a bit more. It just didn't feel as comfortable and consistent. as my V3X does. So yeah, that's why I just stuck to it. I'm like, no point changing anything that's no good. Like, there's nothing wrong with it.
From a beginner's point of view, if someone's starting into bow hunting, do you think that feel that you've got develops, or you can just pick up any bow and make it work for you early on, and then once you start developing skills, or it's important to spend time at a bow shop or something and actually find one that fits you well before you
That's
develop
the
bad
best
habits?
bit of advice I'll give you. If you can get to a bow shop, shoot as many bows as you can. Like, I know you'll look at bows and think, I really like the look of that, but it might shoot like shit for you. Like, it might not feel right. Really inconsistent. So the best thing, just shoot as many different brands as you can. If the pro shop has them, whatever, and then find the bow that, whatever bow suits you, that's the bow you should go with. And like, knowing how a bow should feel, a lot of that comes from a lot of experience as well. But you will build that up as you start off. Everything will change. You'll go through so many different changes, even with the same bow. You'll be playing with draw length, half inch here, half there, or your knock heights and all sorts of stuff. Like, you really, the more you get into it, the more you'll develop with it and get more in depth in a sense. And that's when you really start to feel what's right. Then you might shoot someone else's bow and go, oh, don't like that, or I really like that. So you develop your skill as you go along with it, and you'll start sensing these things.
And I'd assume even with that phase 4 you were talking about, you were still shooting accurately. It was just a feeling and a comfort thing. So it's still performing
it's just
well
for me.
you.
Yeah, for me, it just wasn't right. It's still a good bow, don't get me wrong. Like, it's shot really good, but I just didn't have the confidence in it like I do with me Matthews V3X one. That was all.
Sure. Just becomes an extension of your arm at some point. And
yeah, like, I knew that bow so well. I killed that many deer, camels, buffalo, pigs, all sorts of stuff with it. I had it fly out of the ute when we were hunting buffalo, and it got smashed up all down the road, but nothing wrong with it. So it's a good solid bow. I've taken it all over Australia and that, and they never let me down.
One thing I find from a rifle point of view is sometimes you'll walk into the smaller shops, and as a beginner, you ask the wrong questions sometimes, and the people behind the counter can go one way or the other. Hey, I just got my license. I want to shoot deer. What should I buy? And quite often, unfortunately, they get sold whatever's on the shelf.
Yeah.
Not what's specifically right for them. Is there, a shop that you'd recommend, or that what's your shop that you go to?
I've got no shop where I am because I mill bloody no area. But if you want to get a broad amount of bows, different brands, then I'd recommend probably go to Benson Archeries or Abbey in Sydney if you're there. If not, if you're in Sydney, you want to drive a bit further up to Newcastle, bow hunting only. Like, them boys, they're on top of their game. They know exactly what they're doing, like Nick and Jack Crick and that. They got it all sorted there. And if you're in Queensland, Apex is up there, and I believe he's got quite a big range. There's a few other mobs, like there's Far Ahead Bow Hunting, I think it's called. And Ian Summers, he's a guru. He's the one to talk to. He knows all these stuff that good about every single bow because all the tuning he does for everyone and that.
Yep.
But it just depends where you're based, really. But those would be the main ones I'd look at.
That Far Ahead Bow Hunting, is he the one who's got a range inside his factory unit as well?
Yeah, it looks like that. Like an industrial, he's got a range in it. I'm pretty sure he does. I don't know him. I've never spoke to him. I've just seen it come up on Instagram and that.
Yeah, likewise.
And they do days and stuff there and shoots and tune people's bows up for them and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's important. I'm south of Sydney. I live in Bowral, Mittagong side, and we've got one in Marulan. I'm just trying to think. Tobus Archery. It's actually run by a fellow called Graham Benson, not to be confused with Benson Archery, but doesn't have a amazing range of bows, but can get them in for you once you decide what you want. But what he's got is a full 3D archery target range out there, and an amazing ability to spend time with you and help you set it up or correct any problems you have.
That's the thing. Like, you go to the bigger shops and use all their sort of stuff and work it out. Then if you got to do a day trip, make a weekend of it to do that. Then if you've got a small local store, then you know what you want or whatever. And I find is get like the smaller local ones, you get sort of more of an intimate time with them, and they'll really focus on you and help you out a lot.
These fellas I had on the weekend, they're very new to bow hunting, especially. This was their first hunt. But they were full of advice from 3,000 different people. And that gets tricky too, because everyone you ask has a different opinion.
That's right.
You shoot what you shoot, I shoot a Hoyt, like only because that's what I've got. It's not because I've shot all the others. So everyone you has a different opinion on whether they like Ford or Holden sort of thing. It's
that's right.
So you got to take it with a grain of salt and give it a go. But that's hard when they're $3,000 per setup. You're not going to go and buy 3 or 4 and pick which one you want.
It's a lot of money, eh?
Well, yeah, it's an investment. Definitely an investment. I think it's on par with rifle hunting. I mean, a rifle's the same sort of money, and then you've got to buy bullets or you've got to buy arrows. You can reuse an arrow, can't reuse a bullet.
That's right.
So, what arrows are you running?
Was that, sorry?
What arrows are you running?
Nap time. Nap time Crucifix 250s, they are. 250 spine. I've been running them for 3-4 years, maybe a bit longer now. They're a good arrow.
On a technical side of things, what does spine mean?
To be honest, I don't really know.
I don't know.
As far as I know, the higher the poundage,
it just works.
Lower the spine. It's the flex in the arrow, like stiffness, as far as I know. I don't get like I'm going to get crucified here. I don't really get into that stuff, like grains per square inch and all that shit. It's the way I started that many bloody years ago, like over 20 years ago now. It's like I just shot the arrow that worked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this. I know 250s are good coming out of my 75-pound bow. Through paper, they shoot good. You get a good bullet hole with them. And you watch them fly. I shoot a lot of long distance at home when I'm practicing and that, and they fly like darts. So,
sure. What's long distance?
I go out to 100 with my bow, like practice. Most comfortable is at 40 metres for me, is where I'm most comfortable with my bow. But I can take it out to 100.
40 or less, or is that the sweet spot?
The sweet spot for me is 40, like just on target. But when I'm hunting, I do take a few longer shots when I have to, but I do prefer to be 30 and under. The 40's always been sweet for me.
Yeah. With practicing anything, the more you practice, obviously, the better you get at it. But it's interesting that you want to practice at 100, even though you're not really going to use that in actual hunting.
If you can hit, buddy, a bit bigger than a tennis ball at 100, then when you get into 40s, your 20s and 30s, it's like a chip shot.
Yeah, makes those easier. And what about broadheads?
Cayuga. I'm actually been using the Cayuga Trizot since it came out, and that is an awesome friggin' head. I did a bit of management on that block the day before I took my son there to Cocky runs cattle, and goats aren't worth anything there, and I used to muster his goats for him, and he goes, we just got to take him out, otherwise he'd be spending a fortune on hay to try and feed his cattle. So he said, go in there and just smack as many as you can, and in under an hour I smacked 4 pretty good billy goats to them Trizots, and it just carnage, eh? Like everything I've shot with them, it won't go more than 10 metres, eh? If you shoot in the right spot. But they are a very, very good head, those Cayuga Trizots.
Yeah, they put a lot of research into that.
And they're accurate too. My rooster deer in that big wide open country, because I drove so far to go hit one, the shot ended up being 65 metre shot. It was the only opportunity I had. And I was that confident in the gear and that I hit him. It's all on camera, got him smacked square bang in the heart. He probably went 10 metres and he did one spin and that was it, fell over.
That's a bit of a dream animal for you. Been keen on that for a while. It's your first one, wasn't it?
Yeah. First time I've ever seen him. Never seen a rooster.
Yeah. So I often get asked, how do you hunt a species?
When the video comes out.
Well, I'm keen to see it, but I get asked, when you change species or areas and things like that, how do you take your skills that you've got now and then put them in place in a whole new area? You were self-guiding or something, weren't you, up there?
Yeah, no, I was just on my own. I got into a private block there, hunted solo. The cocky, he showed me where water was, and like in that country I was, Central Queensland, like water's life, so they're not going to be too far from it. And when I came into the place, there's a creek. Well, it's off a bore that runs into a creek, and I saw 2 hinds there on the way in. So I'm like, there's deer here. So might as well focus my energies here. And then he showed me a couple of water holes. There's only like 6 water holes on this place. There's like tens and tens of thousands of acres. And I just came back that afternoon, walked a fair few k's along this creek and just stopping and glassing, trying to get high. It was all flat country, like climb up trees and that, and just looking in the grass for antlers and whatnot. I found 4 of them, bedded up, and that's how it all happened with them. And out of the whole time I was there, it's the only time I saw deer that one afternoon. So I was pretty stoked. It was the first afternoon I was there, first hunt.
Yeah.
So I just put in everything I had to get that done. So.
And that's a good reminder to people, the old don't pass up on Monday what you'd shoot on Friday sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't let walk on the first day what you shoot on the last. And he ended up being a 31-inch rooster, so I was bloody pumped about that.
Open country stalking. How do you go about that? Question from a listener, Michael Galbraith, shout out, because he sent it to me. But you're pretty successful in stalking open country fallow especially. But what are you doing to get in on an open country rooster?
Well, I use the grass and the wind to my advantage, like noise, like from wind and that. I spotted them. It probably took almost an hour to get to them. Like I got to within about 40 metres, it was 42, I'm pretty sure, till it was last cover. So I took off my bino harness, everything, and I was literally on my belly trying to just keep my profile below the grass and whatnot because there's no undulation there to sort of assist with me. And like there's a creek, so I'm like, sweet, if I come in close to the creek, the sound of the water running will sort of hide my noise through the grass and whatnot. And it was a hard crawl too because it was every cat's head, bindi, thistle, spike you could think of. Like I went back, I still had antibiotics from the last time I got blood poisoning, and I actually took a few of them when I got back because all my knees are infected, my hands, my elbows, parts on my mid-body from crawling through all this shit. And got to last cover, which was a tree where they were bedded up about 42 metres away. And I sat there for 2.5 hours on my knees behind this tree, and that was friggin' hard. That's the thing, it's a lot of it's mental. Like something like that in front of you, like you'll wait hours and hours if you have to. And here with the fallow, it's a bit different with the open country because you got the undulations of the hills here in the grass country and that's what I've grew up hunting. So that's how I've learned it, and I try not to move unless there's like good breeze of wind and stuff. That's when I start to move because I know that grass is making a bit of noise. And always watch the deer or the pig's tails, make sure to wagging side to side, whatever. And when everything goes still on an animal, like you sort of know they're sort of listening, they've got a bit of alertness about them. So there's kind of a lot of it to do with reading body language of the animals and stuff. And with deer, you can see their antlers, they keep moving as they're feeding and stuff. As soon as they stop, I'll stop. And it's just sort of like that, and playing the wind, most important of anything, like getting that scent going the right way. And that can be tricky with deer here, or deer anywhere in the open, like the old bucks. There's no point hunting with the wind, in your favour and trying to ambush these older bucks because they're going to walk away with the wind in their face. They're never going to come with the wind blowing up their ass. So a lot of the time here, I'll hunt crosswinds. And sometimes you get busted from swirls and that, but other times that's when I've been most successful.
Right.
So a few little tips about it. But.
Yeah, no, they're all good ones. With circling back to these clients out on the weekend, just something it reminded me of that doesn't, again, happen so much when you're rifle hunting, but when you're close, and I'm going to use goats because that's what we're on, you blow the stalk, right? The goat spots you, movement, sound, smell, whatever it needs to be. But they look at you, and if you freeze, they're still staring at you. And depending on the level of alertness and the level of blown you've been, they quite often put their head back down. And then the mistake the client made, it was just a learning mistake, it's fine. As soon as it put its head back down, he started moving. But in my experience, what I found is they put their head down as a ploy and then put it straight back up. Is that something you found as well? They'll put it down and then trick you.
Yeah, people you get into a stare off with them and it's sort of like, if you hold out, you win. But no, they always do that. They will always look back, goats, no matter what. Like if they see a bit of movement, you can sometimes trick them if you just stay still long enough and they finally get over it and they walk off, start feeding again. Or it comes to the point if they smelt you, it's all over. Like they may not run right off, but as soon as they sneeze, you know it's all over for you. But no, they will do that. They will look away, and you'll go, "Oh, sweet, how good's this?" And then boom, they'll turn around straight away. So no, they're pretty.
And
it depends how heavy they're hunted as well, what pressure's on them and that. But
the sneeze is interesting because it'll be one. It's not the one you're hunting usually, but another one spots you. It'll sneeze, and the others, they all look at it and then look at what it's looking at.
Yep.
And then they go back to feeding quite quickly because they're like, I can't see what they're talking about. And then they give up. But that one, like we literally had a group of 60 within 50 of us the other day. And there's just this one that was about a third of the way up from the back of the group. And it pinged us pretty early. We were stuck in an open because we didn't know these goats were there. We're just moving through a bit of an open country heading to a spot. And one come over the crest. I thought, oh, that's cool. There's a goat here. Turned out he was the leader of this long procession. But it pinged us and it did not give up. And we outstared it, but it was still semi-alert for an hour. It was never fully comfortable like the others were, but we ended up losing light that day. We ran out and bailed.
There's always a century goat that's always looking out for him.
Yes. Have you? Someone said the other day too. If there's one nanny that's particularly spotty and she's always spotting you and giving away, you should shoot her. So
you want to shoot her because she always gets you.
Yeah,
but the nannies are the hardest because they're the most switched on because they've got kids on them most of the time. Like an old nanny, she's always looking around, see what's about.
Yep. Do you use calls when you're outside of deer hunting and the rut? But do you use calls for goats?
Nah.
No, you've never bleeped one in.
I sort of tried once. Like I'll use a call to stop them.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm drawing back and they start moving, I'll go back or whatever, and they'll stop. And then I'll let the arrow go. But I've never called one in. I haven't really tried to be honest, but.
Well, got a story to tell you, and I've never done it before successfully, but we had a lonely goat. He was in a group in a thick of green stuff. We spotted him from 150 away, and we made a plan. We made 2 steps forward in our plan, and there was 3 behind a tree that I couldn't see, and they spotted me, and they were alert. But this other one wasn't. We continued with our plan, and it turned out that those 3 racked off with whatever others were there, but they didn't make a sound, and they left this one in the thick stuff. And then we got to the thick stuff and we saw it. We were 30, and he had moved just to the other side of it. And then he realized he was by himself. So he was screaming, and it's a noise I hadn't heard before from a goat. And I've heard most of their calls, but this was literally, "Hey guys, where are you? Where is everyone? What's happened? Why is there no one around?" And he'd moved. He was about 50 from us. And we sat down behind a bush, and I just gave a little meh, meh, and he's like, oh, no, there is someone back there. Oh, there is someone that stayed behind. And he literally came into 10, and the client I had with me, it was his first bow kill, he actually hit it, perfect shot, but straight through this brush in front of me. I thought he was going to wait until it popped out on the left-hand side, but he had a little opening that I couldn't see, and he unleashed. He had an old school Cayuga on the front, and that thing did some damage.
Yeah, they did damage too. There's like any animal you can call in if you say the right thing in the right situation. Like what you were saying, describing then, how he's lost in that, and whenever everyone else went, and you make sound of a goat, they got him intrigued. So a lot of it depends on the situation too.
He was young too. If it was an old nanny or an old Billy, I don't think they would have understood my accent. But I've tried it before too, and it works the opposite. They run. So it's anecdotal that it worked, but it's definitely worked. I want to circle back to you spoke about earlier, some of your trips you've been on, camel, buffalo, and things like that. Are you changing your setup for different species on the bigger things?
My bow, from down to rabbits up to buffalo, it's all the same. Yep. So I don't really shoot rabbits, but they're like goats and pigs, deer, buffalo, whatever it is, it's all the same. I don't change anything on it.
And shot placement's more important than...
Yeah, it's where you hit them. And my bow's just it's all round. So that's why I love it so much. It's just an all round bow. Even though it's 75 pound, it'll shoot. Yeah, you'll take anything in Australia with it. Put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Around the world, even I reckon. Yeah.
Yep. And what's been one of the harder ones, whether it be hard to get the access to, hard to make the stalk on, or hard to actually kill?
Buffalo were pretty hard where we were. Like buffalo is my favourite hunt, hands down. Like there's something about hunting buffalo. I love it. And yeah, a lot of those stalks are frigging hard. Like once they're cleared on the zone, that's it. It's over. You can chase them all day if you want. You won't ever catch up to them. But yeah, camel was similar to sort of hunting deer because they're so tall, open, flat country. The eyesight's frigging incredible. But yeah, the buffalo was quite hard. It was real challenging in that different country and that hot climate and that. And yeah, but everything can be as hard as the next thing. It just depends on the situation, how pressured the animal is, and how hard they're hunted. If they're not hunted at all, I'm pretty sure you could get away with a lot with a buffalo or a pig or anything if they're never pressured. But it just all depends on the circumstances as well, I think. But
I think when there's nothing much more spine-tingling memory than a buffalo staring you down because he spotted you at 30 or something.
It's good. I love it.
You with a deer, with a fallow, that they're not coming for you. Like that's not an option. It's right. Away from you. But that's I'm going to say it's pretty much the only animal in Australia that, other than scrub bull, maybe I've heard of probably a sambar that's attacked someone maybe by accident, but that's coming for you at some that's an option for it. That's not an option for a
fallow. He's got choices.
Yeah, and we've got less than him.
That's right.
It's not much backup with a 75-pound bow.
Oh, yeah, buddy, we got charged, when I was up there. I shot my bull. And then I think we got the boar, and I shot a cow this day, like a big buffalo cow. And we're skinning it out, taking a heap of meat off it and stuff. And I was on one side of the cow, and Harry was on the other. And next minute, he's just like going, oh, shit. And he's launched over the cow and nearly landed on me. And I'm like, what's going on? You get bit by a snake or something? And he just grabbed his gun. I looked up, and here's this frigging bull. He's like under 10 of us. He just come in so quiet through this fix shit, and he was not going to leave us alone. And yeah, he came in. He tried to get us, and Harry had to put him down. But they're crazy animals. Like you were saying, if they want you and they decide that's what they're doing, they'll get you. They're not an animal to mess with.
Yeah, very similar situation, but I hadn't got to the skinning part. It was, I don't even know if I've spoken about this on the podcast. I had an interesting bow hunting trajectory, which involved a rabbit 1 week, a fallow doe the next day, and then 2 weeks later I was buffalo hunting. That was my entry to bow hunting with very minimal skill, study, or tuning. Anyway, I shot a buff, was facing straight on, right in the little white triangle, which I learnt later is a good idea, but it was purely just instinct and luck, mostly luck. And this thing turned around and bled out within 30, 50, whatever, fell on its side. But what happened instantly was another one came in and flipped it over.
Hey, right.
A bull that we hadn't even really seen, like was in the periphery. He came in and had a go at this bull that was having its last breaths, which I was, that was pretty crazy to watch. The strength to flip a bull over with its horns, like those things are a ton. Like they're just tanks of animals.
No, they're very powerful and very precise. I've got a mate who worked up the territory, and they were catching wild buffalo, and he said, like back in them days, when you had little tobacco tins, he goes, you could flick the tobacco tin into the yards, and the bull will hit it with the very tip of its horn. It knows exactly where that is. Yeah, I asked a few people about that when I was up there. Yeah, no, true story. They know exactly how big they are.
Yeah.
Freaking crazy.
That's a skill in its half. Harry's got a pretty good outfit up there. He's got some amazing access.
Oh, it's freaking incredible, mate. Like I'm actually going to go back up there. I'm going to start talking with him, work out another trip.
Well, I fly out. I'm going up in 2.5 weeks, I think.
Oh, yeah? Shit, how good's that?
But, yeah, not a personal one. Well, sort of. I got 2 American clients where I'm hosting, taking them up there.
Yep.
But we're not going with Harry. We're going with Jaggers in his Ardenland concession. They're both rifle hunters from Texas, but yeah, it'll be good to get up there. It's a special part of the world.
Oh, it's magic country, magic.
I love the comments online. Why do people pay to shoot cows? Well, you've obviously never experienced it because
That's right. Go up there and do it.
Like, oh, it's hard to explain. The buffalo hunting part itself, especially from a rifle point of view, not hard.
No,
it's not hard at all. It's which one you want to shoot, but
yeah.
It's the whole experience. It's the flight. It's the 8-hour drive. It's the middle of nowhere. It's the people, the community. If you're in the blackfella country or the farm, like at Harry's place, it's a working ranch cattle station.
Mm.
You know that farm is pumping with life 24/7. There's always someone coming in the door for a feed, and whether it be a 300 millionaire American client or someone that's just there to rustle some cattle. Like it's
that's it.
Incredible cross section of community. But
the buffalo, like you can drive past a lot of them, and they'll just stand there. But as soon as you get out of that car and go near them, it's a whole different story. Like they will piss off that friggin' quick. It's not as easy,
like you said. That one snuck up on you.
Hey, that's right. It's not as easy as it looks. Hey.
Did you have a chance at any scrubbles while you're up there?
There was 2. We saw 2 or 3. Well, we saw 2 regularly, and then 1 random one. But yeah, just never. I wanted one, but I never got a chance because after I shot my bull, I don't give a shit about scoring that. It was a 97, but then later in the trip we come across this other bull, and it was just friggin' out of this world, like next level, like massive bull. And he offered it to me if I want to have a crack at him. Like, shit, yeah. So then we spent a fair bit of time chasing him, but they never got to make it happen on him. There's too many donkeys that would get in the friggin' way and ruin stalks and stuff because once a donkey knows you're there, that's it, eh? Like, they will just stay at you and just honk at you the whole friggin' time. And, never got a chance on him, but I had some awesome friggin' stalks and calling in buffalo. We had buffalo walking behind us and that. And like you said, the experience of having something that can kill you so quick and being surrounded by them, it's pretty cool feeling. It's pretty surreal.
Yeah. I mean,
it's all part of what you pay for too. So,
True. There's not many goats that have gored people to death. Like there is buffalo. There's not many goats that have gored people to death. They're not worth being scared of. What's left on your list? You got to, for those that are listening, behind Brett, he's got a fair trophy wall happening.
Yeah, I do have a list. After shooting that rooster, I'm kind of getting a bit obsessed with the Grand Slam now. And I've been looking at Chiddle, and I'm pretty sure I found a place not far from where I got my rooster. I can go hunt Chiddle. And but before I think I hit the Grand Slam, like when you start going into the Chiddle and the hog deer, which is very hard to do, I'm pretty obsessed still with bovines. So I need the scrub cattle and the bantang, and that's all. The bovines ticked off the list, but bantang's at top of the list, Chiddle second, Samba's third for me at the minute. So, but I'm still going to go hit Victoria as much as I can, trying to get a Samba, but on public land. But it's time I start really looking at either going Chiddle hunting or going after a bantang.
You nearly don't have to go that far now. I mean, there's a weird noise outside. The Samba are pushed up into New South Wales pretty heavily, and there's a Facebook page, New South Wales Samba Hunters, State Forest Samba Hunters or something.
I've hunted Samba.
They're getting some stonkers.
Like I've hunted them a fair bit. Like I've been in their country a lot. I've only seen a few. I've been a part of 2 getting shot. But at my place, actually, I was with Jasper. It was when he was last year. I'm convinced in this out the back there in this real thick country of walking through, I found a pile of Samba shit. Convinced it's Samba shit. It's too big to be a fallow, and I've seen a lot of Samba shit. So I'm pretty convinced they've come up here now. Well, I know of one that's not too far from here that my mate sent me a video of, and I've got another mate he's a fair few k's from here, but he's got cameras up, and he sent me a picture of it to see what type of deer it was, and it was a Samba stag that went past his camera. So I'm like, shit, they're here now.
Yes.
But I want a Victorian public land one. That's the dream.
Right. That's the pinnacle.
That's all
I don't know. Having one at your back doorstep's pretty exciting.
Oh, mate, it got me freaking excited, eh? So I've got 4 cameras out there now in all different spots in order to fix shit on like good game trails and it, hoping that one comes up on it. That'd be pretty cool to see because they've only got fallow here, so something else, that'd be pretty cool.
What about wild dogs? Got many of those at all?
Not here. There was one shot about 20 k's away, I'd say, 17, 20 k's away. Because I'm a farmer, I am a part of baiting programs and stuff, like for foxes and wild dogs and that, and we have a wild dog baiting group here. And all the farmers in this district or our area, our village, we all get together twice a year with local land services, and we supply baits to them and they inject them for us with double shot at 1080. So we all bait at the exact same times and that, so it's sort of, we've kept a check on them pretty well. We haven't had any sightings here with, like I found dog tracks and that, but I assume they're just pig dogs because I've had no stock attacked or anything and no one else has yet. But no, we're pretty on top of them with our baiting program.
And when you say wild dog shot 20 k's away, are we talking, like I said, pig dog gone wild or?
No, it was a dog. It was a proper wild dog.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah. The howling
like,
of that
it
stuff.
It looked like a dingo.
Talking about Vic High Country, that's, spine tingling. I've had it a couple of nights down there. Just, you spend the whole time, you're like, where is it? Is it close? What's happening?
That's right. I was like,
the dingo stole my baby. It's going to be a fairly big dingo to drag me out of a tent, but.
That's it. Where I was at Queensland, every night the dogs got closer and closer, because I was out there on my own. And at one point, the cocky had to go somewhere else about 170 k's away for shearing at a different block. And he said, you'll probably be the only bloke in a 100k radius right now after I leave here. Like, yeah, no, it's all sweet. And I'll work on my own. I've had my whole life alone pretty much, like work-wise and whatnot. And, friggin' every night, the friggin' dogs, they got closer and closer and closer, Got to the point I took a bit of meat off the rooster, like the bones and that after I boned it out. And I took them about 400 metres away from camp. Sure as shit, that night you could hear them all going mental down there. So it's an eerie feeling, like you're laying there in your swag and you know there's friggin' dogs out there. But,
well, it's up there with that buffalo stuff. I mean, these American clients have got coming, they're not so much them specifically, but the comment from Americans is, we're so scared of snakes and spiders. I'm like, no. I'm worried about the bears and cougars and stuff, the bigger things.
Yes, that's right, the wolves.
Yeah, like a wild dog is up there with, it hasn't happened much, like comparatively to mountain lions taking people and things, but they have the ability to. Like we said with the buffalo, it is an option for them.
Hey, that's right.
It's an option.
I feel a lot safer with snakes than I would bears and that,
Yeah, snakes and spiders. I mean, they're in your shoes or around your shoes and around the house and things, but, you can shoo them away. It's a bit hard to shoo a 800-pound bear away, 300-pound bear or whatever it is.
That'd be another hunt that might be coming up too, bear hunt.
Oh, yeah? Oh, swapsies for your Canadian friends.
That's right. We've got the connection now, so we're sort of trying to work out getting over there when the best time is and getting a what do they call it? It's not an alien tag. I think it is. Alien tag that you can hunt a predator. I think, you know a heap more than I would about it, but predator tag. I'm pretty sure it is. So that's something that might be in the works too soon.
In Canada?
Yeah.
I think, the areas we hunt in Canada, which is Saskatchewan mostly, but I don't think you're allowed to spot and stalk. I'm pretty sure it's tree stand
that's
stuff.
where we're going, Saskatchewan or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's a tongue twister, Saskatchewan, and there's a town there called Saskatchewan.
Right, there you go.
It's just to add to it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. How do you feel about tree stand hunting versus?
That's the thing. If I hunt bear, I want to spot and stalk it. I don't want to sit there and bait it. I know it just doesn't feel sporting to me. I'd rather be on its level and hunt it that way. But like when you get an opportunity like that, you got to just roll with it,
Sure. Yeah. And I think my experience with that in the past is, I think from a legal point of view, it's actually not legal to spot and stalk them. However, because they do that all the time and just sit in the tree stands, I don't think the bears would know what's going on if you spot and stalked one. Like, I think they'd be like I
That's
think
right.
you do quite well.
Yeah.
They're not used to that style of being hunted.
Yeah. I would. Yeah, that's how I'd like to do it, but yeah, I got to do what I got. How they do it, I guess.
Well, the other thing they do is they usually put you in a stand and leave you there. So if you hop down and walk around, they might not know. And then
I
just
don't want to get
hop back
arrested
up.
over there, mate.
Hop back. Well, the cops aren't walking around in the bush, but yeah, in Montana you can spot and stalk. They're a smaller bear normally, the black bears, but
Yeah.
man, yeah, they're an incredible critter. There's some big
That's
big
it.
ones coming out this year of our block over there. So, but on the international side, so bears, predators interest you, and if you want to go to the bovines, does that mean you want to do like African bovine stuff? Does that interest you?
Yeah, I'm not too interested in Africa at the minute. A lot of Africa is out of blinds too, isn't it? And like hunting
Mostly.
over water.
Yeah.
Like Africa to me is something I'd like to leave. You know,
Until you're old and crippled.
yeah, till I'm crippled up. While I'm still going the way I am, like I want to do New Zealand, 100% on the list. I want to get a tar and a chamois with the bow. And if I get the chance ever in the tag system I'm doing to go to America, mule deer, which is weird. I'd rather shoot a mule deer over an elk, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something about mule deer. So that'd be like backcountry mule deer in the snow, or if you can hunt them in the snow for bow season. I don't know if you can, but that's a dream. If the opportunity come up to do that, I'd jump on it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't blame you for it. They're a pretty spectacular animal and a little bit underrated. I think the whitetail gets a lot of rap just because it's a bit like the fallow of America. You know, most people have access to it, and it's hard or easy, whatever. But a lot of them get shot. But the mule deer are impressive and similar to our Rusa and Samba in the way that, this is my experience anyway, huge ears, humongous ears, and good luck. Like,
that's where they get mule name from, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I suppose. No, I hadn't considered that, but it's they don't taste amazing. The ones where we were in Montana, they ate sagebrush, so their meat literally just, you use sage as a herb when you're cooking. That's fine, but when all you're eating is sage, it's hard to. It's hard to delete the flavor. Are you an eater of? I mean, everyone's an eater, but do you eat? Yeah,
live on it. Live on the
venison.
Eat it every week. Yeah, I actually got the back legs off the goat my young bloke just shot. I won't eat like a bigger goat or nothing because they just taste like shit, like billy goats and that. You smelled them. They're not very appetizing, but I won't eat pig only because I know exactly what's in them around here and the worms and parasites and whatnot. But deer, I eat probably 4 times a week.
Yeah, right.
Like as in for a dinner meal, but I eat it every day because I make, like smoked up sausages and that, like metwurst and stuff like that, and jerky all the time. So I've always got some form of venison on me. Hardly ever buy red meat. Oh, yeah, shit, yeah. And no, I love it.
Because you're on the farm, you might have, the odd cow or lamb here and there that you can knock.
Yeah, we don't have cattle. Like, I'll kill lamb here and there, but their main source, even for the family, the main source of red meat's venison here. We've got cool room and all that stuff.
Makes it easy. It's nice to hear. We, I think the only protein we buy is pork and chicken. Yep. And the wife only buys pork when it's on sale, and chicken we buy semi-regularly. But my kids are a bit younger than yours, so steaks are kind of off the record, off the menu at the moment. So it's mostly mince, and man, you can put mince into so many things.
Oh shit! It's very versatile, eh?
It is. I did 2 dishes on the weekend for these guys, and one I'd never tried before. I just saw a picture on Instagram the night before I went, and I was like, I'm going to do that. And I'm calling it Dodge Bachi, which is a dodgy hibachi, meaning like 3. It's you can use it if you want, but it's 3 Besser blocks I picked up from Goulburn Bunnings on my way down. So you put one next to each other and then one at the back, a shovelful of coals or 2 underneath it, and then I cut the back strap up in like 3 to 5 mil tiny little slices, tiny little steaks, and then I fed it back and forth over this skewer with a little bit of onion between each layer.
Oh,
I did about eight tiny slices with 8 little bits of onion on this metal skewer, and then dropped it over the coal, like over the top of the. I'll put some photos up. It's and it like one guy wanted it a bit more cooked, so we just left his on longer. I like mine rare, medium rare, so I pulled. Oh, it was so nice cooked on the coals. Give that a go next time you sit.
I might have to come and crash your deer camp next time you're up here.
Dodge Barchi. Well, I might actually see you in
that.
person.
I might have to come over and take a bit.
Yeah, well, the hardest part was making it. I mean, it just took forever. I was threading the needle, all the little bits on.
It'd be pretty tedious.
Skewers, but I said, "Are you guys full?" Oh no, and bugger! Right, I make another one. Put it
Start
on the
making
coals.
some more.
But the venison rump, I think, is my favourite cut. It's either the shoulder or the rump, just above that hip joint, that whole big muscle on the top. And
yeah, that's always nice.
Yeah, I cook that up for him too. But no, you and I are both the size of good eaters. So do the kids? They don't really know any difference.
No, they grew up with it. No, they love it.
Did your missus hunt or anything? Did she just enjoy the food?
No, I don't hunt. She just eats a bit of it.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Fair enough. Oh, well, let's cover what I needed tonight. I just want to have a chat about your bow hunting experience and expertise, and I appreciate your little tips and tricks too. That'll surely help me. I'm going to put a little bit more effort into the bow, I think, especially from a personal point of view. It was just a really good reminder this last few days with these guys about how easy it is with a rifle. And even one of them said, if I want meat, I would use a rifle. If I want to enjoy the hunt, I would use a bow. And it kind of reminded me.
True.
How it was.
I don't take anything away from rifle hunters or that, but it could be a hell of a lot more selective with a rifle than you can a bow.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I saw it happen this year. I watched 16 bucks hit the deck. It's the first time he really did it with rifles, and trying to knock a few of the numbers down. And every other year I'll do it myself with a bow. It might get 3 or 4. You can see the difference in it. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an effective tool. And again, I'm not going to take anything away from it either, because I'm sitting next to a gun safe with a heap in it, and I've got one bow and a heap more guns. And I love shooting them. It's just nothing better than the smell of an empty cartridge. But it's from a personal point of view, I think I'll slowly put a little bit more effort into it. But
if you need any help,
still in the point of
hesitate to ask.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'll take you up on that. But it's more the help getting up the hill I probably need. Those hills near you aren't small. That's why I asked that question about the flatland stuff. Approaching deer on flat land. That interests me.
Bow hunting definitely makes you fitter too.
Yeah, you can't get to the end of a stalk and be puffed. You got to be ready to perform.
Yeah, that's right.
So, anyway, thanks for jumping on, Brett. It's been good talking to you, and look forward to seeing you down at the local pub.
Yeah, mate. No worries. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Talk soon.
All right, bye.